First story. The Tragedy of Cousin Tommy. A true cheating story. This is the Story Boy totally true tale. Everything below really happened. The only things that has been altered are the names of the people. Around 2013, 2014 I was pretty good friends with a co-worker Gary. Our wives were friends and co-workers as well. Our wives got sent on a work conference to Nashville, TN. The conference was from Friday to Sunday. We all decided to make a vacation out of it. It was me, my wife, our one kid, Gary, his wife, their 3 kids, and his mom Sally. We went down early, and why the wives did have to work some Friday and Saturday, it was a fun time. The plan though, because the wives would get back very late Sunday, was after we had some morning fun Saturday. Myself, Gary, Sally, and our combined 4 kids would head back. I was riding shotgun and Gary at the wheel. It was about a 7-hour drive. We made the usual talk for a while when Gary said, "Okay, hypothetical, you win one of those crazy lotteries, like 900 million or something, what you doing with it?" Sally goes, "Oh, I'd give it to family." For some reason Gary is extremely triggered by this. "You'd give it to family, really? Why would you do that?" They start going back forth. I'm getting small explanations as they go. Gary looks at me and says her family is like, "You're successful with a college degree or you're poor white trash and there is no in between." He yells back, "You'd give money to Uncle Danny, really?" Sally's like, "Okay, maybe not him." Gary looks back over at me. "Danny is a worthless piece of shit." He starts naming off these random relatives. I have no idea who any of these people are. He rattles off a few more and gets various answers from Sally. Yells back at her, "Dave and Linda." Sally, "Yeah, for the baby." Gary immediately, "They'd spend it all on lottery tickets and cigarettes." Looks at me. "Those 2 are the example of why reproducing should require a license." For the record, I never got a chance to say my answer to the $900 million hypothetical. Anyway, Sally goes, "I'd give a lot to Tommy," and Gary's whole demeanor changes. "Oh, Tommy, yeah, he deserves it." This is where the conversation shifts and they begin to tag team tell me the tragedy of Cousin Tommy. So Tommy was a good guy. He was Gary's second cousin. He got married in his early 20s to Robin, also in early 20s. They had 2 kids. Tommy works evenings for most of their marriage. He's blue collar but doing good for himself and his family. To give me an idea, they said his hours were like 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. shift. His wife Robin worked days, and they each had the kids while the other worked. About 5 years into the marriage, some of Tommy's friends, who he mostly works with, begin telling him they think Robin is cheating on him. At first, they would just say they think something is going on. "I don't know for sure, just a feeling or something weird they saw or heard." He ignores their warning, says he trusts her. This goes on sporadically for about a year. Towards the end, Tommy's friends are telling him straight out, "She is cheating. If you just go home on dinner break you'll probably see for yourself." One day it finally got too much for him and he did just that. Sure enough, he arrived to find her boss is there, and he catches them in the act. This totally blows up, throws Robin out, and she moves in with her parents. They have to basically coexist though with kid schedules and their own work schedules. Kids are 6F and 4M when this goes down. He is really close with 6F. She's a total daddy's girl. He figures out this has gone on for years. Eventually, he can't take the wonder and gets paternity tests done. Neither kid is his. He goes straight to her parents' house with the evidence. Her dad is absolutely livid, screams and yells at her, says no man deserves this. He apologized profusely to Tommy. Though the parents did not throw her out, Robin's dad actually moved out of his own house for like 3 weeks because he couldn't stand to look at her. She knows they are the boss's kids. I think it was later verified. Anyway, the affair had been going on the whole time she worked under him, which was right around the same time her and Tommy got married. The excuse she gave Tommy was, she wanted to be a mom and didn't think he could do that because he hadn't gotten her pregnant yet. But the older daughter was conceived like 3 months into the marriage. Tommy was like, for fuck's sake, Robin, can you give a guy a chance? When the affair comes to light, the boss is in total damage control. This guy has a wife, 2 kids, house, all that. He is totally ready to sign off parental rights, cover this up, even pay Tommy to go away. This whole time I'm listening to this story, I'm picturing some Hollywood Lifetime movies shit. In my mind, this is a story of some young hard-working blue-collar guy. Unfaithful secretary wife living double life with sleazy corporate boss. Then Sally drops this gem and all my illusions dissolve back into reality. This actually turned into a huge deal. Corporate ended up getting involved because he was her manager at that Burger King, and they were afraid of a lawsuit. At that moment, I just said, yep, that sounds right. This is the Midwest BK drama, way more likely, lol. I did get the wrap up on the tale. They did divorce, Robin and boss lost their jobs and the boss ended up divorced too. Tommy did still get half custody of kids, but they told me he isn't the same guy anymore. When they are telling me the story, it had already been like 6-7 years since this all took place. He was still single and definitely had a drinking problem. I felt really bad for the guy. It's been another 10 years since that car ride, and I fell out of touch with Gary 6-7 years ago. So I'll likely never get another update. But I do think about this story every time I go in a Burger King. Second story. How do I tell my cousin her husband is cheating on her with another cousin? The title basically sums it up. I, 29F, have a group of cousins whom I consider as sisters. In total there are 5 of us, but today I'll only addressing 2 of them. Now, cousin 1, I'll call her Lara, 26F, is married to Evan, 30M. Cousin 2, I'll call her Aida, 34F, and Evan have history together. They were seeing each other for a couple years before Aida decided she wanted to live her life and left Evan. Obviously he was heartbroken because he loved her. It didn't help that Aida was his first. Anyways, years passed and Evan meets Lara. They get to know each other and pretty much hit it off. Mind you, Evan did not know that Lara and Aida were cousins until a few months into their relationship. Lara, on the other hand, knew about Aida and Evan's history. When Evan started coming around the family, obviously he found out and it was awkward for a bit, but they all moved past it. At least that's what we thought. Years later, Evan and Lara get married, Aida being one of Lara's bridesmaids. They have 2 kids now while Aida has 3 of her own. Now, Evan and Aida work in the same company but in different departments. Their jobs have them working night shifts together but in different areas. One day, Aida comes to my house a bit annoyed. She then proceeds to tell me that Evan had been messaging her, showing up at her work site, finding reasons to be on the same shift as her, buying her late night snacks, etc. It started to make her feel uncomfortable, so I told her to tell him to stop and to tell Lara about it. 2 months later she comes back to my place and proceeds to tell me that they ended up having sex, not once, but multiple times. They had started sneaking around, full-blown affair for 2 months now. I was livid. I shamed her, told her she was stupid for ruining not only her relationship but theirs as well. She fucked up 2 households because she couldn't keep it in her pants. I told her to stop it and to confess and beg for forgiveness, but I'm not too sure if she could. He's at fault too, a pathetic POS. But what Aida did was worse because we all consider ourselves sisters. You don't fucking do that shit to your sister. I want to tell Lara, but I DK how to do it. I don't have proof, I just have a verbal confession that could be questioned. How do I tell her without her telling me I'm a liar? Aida left 2 hours ago after dropping this bomb on me, and I don't know how to handle it. I refuse to keep it to myself, but how do I tell her without her thinking I'm lying? Note, I never liked Evan and Laura knows that. I just accepted he'd be around because she loves him. I don't want her to think I'm spewing lies because she knows he isn't my favorite person in the world. What do I do? I'll probably update once I make a decision. Update. Hey guys, small update. I posted this a while ago in NGL. I was too scared to do anything. Anyways, I've invited Aida and Laura to go to lunch date later on today. I'm shitty for not doing this sooner and I'll accept the consequences. I'll lay it all out on the table and just hope it won't blow up in my face. Sorry for the long wait guys, it's been crazy. Update. Hey guys, for a recap, just hit the links on top. Basically, a cousin of mine admitted to having an affair with another one of our cousin's husband. I took both to lunch to reveal the infidelity. To the update. So when I called Laura and Aida to have lunch with me, I did not tell them that either one will be joining us. I didn't want Aida to bail, because I knew she would if I had told her Laura would be there. For privacy reasons, I decided to meet them at one of the beaches in our island. Aida showed up first and I told her again that she needed to stop her shit and confess, but she brushed me off and changed the subject. Not long after, Laura shows up. We started off with small talk until I basically asked Aida if she had something to tell Laura. Aida called me a bitch for doing this while Laura sat there confused. So since Aida wouldn't fess up, I did it. I told Laura that what I was about to tell her would change her life drastically, that I should have told her as soon as I found out, but I had hoped that Aida would do it herself. But since she didn't, I would, because she deserved to know. I told her about the affair and how long it had been going on for, all while Aida kept denying it, so I showed Laura the messages between Aida and I. Laura was understandably devastated. When I say Laura threw hands, man, she threw hands. And I let her, cause what Aida did was the ultimate betrayal. Aida walked away with a busted lip, a black eye, and a scratched up face. Laura untouched. I think Aida let her beat her ass, but with her, you'll never really know. After the confrontation, Aida left and I haven't heard from her since. Laura opened up to me after she calmed down. She told me that she suspected he was seeing someone else from work because he started acting differently towards her. He was apparently always working. She also told me that she had also noticed Aida has messaged him in the middle of the night on his work phone, but never thought it could have been her. She cried a lot and I apologized to her for not telling me sooner, but she forgave me right away. She said I wasn't the one fucking her husband. That same night, Evan was kicked out of their home. I'm not too sure if Laura will forgive him. I truly hope she doesn't tbh, but knowing her, she'll give in for the kids. I really hope she won't, because they'll make those kids miserable with the drama they'll have from here on out. So there it is. I'll update if there's an update. Thank you all for the advice, I really appreciate it. In my opinion, there aren't any winners in the end. Third story. Caught my wife having an affair with her boss. I recently discovered that my wife of 5 years and partner of 8 years has been having an affair with her boss. We have 2 children together and I'm completely at a loss of what to do. She is military, so we have all of our healthcare through her. I'm terrified of losing all of our benefits, but I can't forgive what I found on her phone when I went through it. The person she got caught on isn't the only guy she was talking to and flirting with. There were 3-4 other men on her phone I found her flirting with. I know she deletes her messages, so there is more than I have been able to find. When I confronted her, she said she was going to kill herself, and is now in a psychiatric facility for 2 weeks, and I'm alone with the kids trying to handle everything on my own. I'm currently a full-time student and have been struggling with getting my assignments in on time and taking care of everything else. She keeps saying she's sorry and doesn't want to live without me, but I know she is still lying to me about things she doesn't know I have proof of. I'm just spiraling all over the place and haven't had a chance to process everything since confronting her last week, since I've been taking care of the kids. I don't know what to do. A voice in my head just keeps telling me I never should have confronted her. Another keeps telling me I should just try to move on. And another is telling me I can never forgive someone who hurt me like this. I don't know what to do and I just need support or advice. I want to be strong enough to leave but I'm so afraid. Y'all, I just wanted to say this is the best fucking subreddit I've ever found. I found this place a few days ago from a person posting in another sub their story to get enough karma to post here. I was fucking spiraling an hour ago when I made the post and you all are helping me feel so much stronger. I really needed all this support and I appreciate everything everyone has said. Thank you. Update. I just wanted to update everyone since this community has been extremely supportive and I've had a few people reach out. Before my wife had checked into the psychiatric hospital, we had talked about doing things amicably and even going to counseling to try and save our marriage. She was released this week on Wednesday but had for the week prior gone radio silent. No calls to check on the kids, no calls to check on me or anything else. When she finally did call, it was a brief 2-minute phone call where she asked if she got anything in the mail, and when I said no, she hung up. That for me was what finally sent me over the edge. I just kept thinking I'm out here trying to take care of all our bills, watch where I'm spending money, cut back on non-essentials, get the kids to their extracurricular activities, and figure out how I'm going to survive because I was the full-time student stay-at-home parent. Meanwhile, she is just doing whatever, and her boss is down the street just cozy in bed not worried about what they did to my children's and my own lives. So I contacted my attorney and told him to start the paperwork and I wanted primary custody, child support, and the house. He told me I had an extremely strong case, and after a nice retainer of $10,000, I started down the divorce road. When my wife was released from the hospital, she came back to the house, and we had a long talk about our relationship and moving forward. I told her if she was serious about reconciling, then she needed to prove to me she was willing to put some skin in the game. From all accounts I've heard, she was planning on screwing me in divorce court in a couple of months if she hadn't been caught and running off with this guy. I let her know I was told as much and told her from my perspective. You were planning on hurting me as much as you could. But the dice didn't roll in your favor, and now you are looking for the security because you are in serious trouble. I told her to find an apartment and we have 60 days for divorce to be finalized in our state. We could try marriage counseling, but I need to protect myself so I can be the best dad possible for my children. If she wanted to fix things, she needed to show me that she wasn't planning on ruining my life and give me the space I need to heal. Maybe somewhere down the road therapy can fix things internally for me, and possibly between us, but for right now, I know she is still withholding information and she is still lying. I held her hand when she was sick and needed infusions at the hospital. I carried her to bed on the nights she was in too much pain to walk, and it wasn't enough for her. She chose what she did and now she is dealing with the consequences. Her family came out to watch her for a few days when she got released, and they are obviously taking her side with things. She either manipulated them or more likely the entire family is just ethically bankrupt. When the process server gave her the paperwork, she tried taking the kids, but I told her she couldn't. Her family tried blaming me and telling me I was messed up for doing this, but I told them I had a right to react how I chose in response to what she did. She took pretty much everything of hers from the house and left last night, and it's been radio silent since. I'm writing this as my kids play with their toys in the other room. My assignments have all been turned in on time. I'm still holding a 4.0 GPA. The laundry is almost done. The dishes are drying, and dinner is already set for tonight. I've made every practice for them in the last 2 weeks, and I've kept the house clean, and even found some time for myself last Friday night. I don't know who will read this message, but I just wanted to tell you it can be done. I have no idea how I'm going to make it moving forward, but I'm going to. To all the beautiful people who messaged me when I needed it and the people who took time out of their nights the last few weeks to help me when I was a mess of anger, grief, and depression, thank you. The people here gave me the push I needed to stand up for myself and not accept living in hell to stay with someone who only loved the things I provided for them and never me. This is all far from over, and when I have more information I'll post it here so someone in the future can find it and know things can be okay even if it hurts now. I leave this post with some of the best advice I've gotten in the last 2 weeks. You aren't in love with her, you are in love with a lie she showed you to get what she wanted. Take the time to grieve the loss of the relationship. The person you thought you knew is gone and it's okay to not be okay about that. Better to face the poison today on your own terms than it is to hide from it and let it slowly kill you for the rest of your life. Fourth story. My 23M girlfriend, 20F, broke up with me and I brought Jer back. Okay, my girlfriend has just broken up with me and I'm completely devastated. The reason for this was that we were with mutual friends and partying at a nightclub. My girlfriend got tired and wanted to go home and sleep with her parents. It was about 23:30 p.m. but I wanted to keep partying. The time is about 1 a.m. and the club closes. Me and our mutual friends, then decide to have an after party at my house. Me, M23, my friend, M25, and F21, and F22. We would take 2 taxis because not everyone could fit in one taxi. We agreed to go home to me at the same time, but the others decided to go home to their girlfriend. When we came to my house, we called one of the girls, F20, and texted that they would come to our house. In the SMS it said type let's go after party, come here etc. My friend and I texted from my phone. They wanted us to come to them instead, which I did not want so I stayed at home. I also called my girlfriend to come to us who slept with her parents about 6 times without her answering. My girlfriend saw these text messages to her girlfriend and broke up with me because she thinks I bump into her friend in the text message. She also said that my attempts to call her were to assure me that she saw I could be with her girlfriends. That was not the case. I would never do such a thing to her. She's done now and I do not know what to do. Update. Mime 25, EXF22, cheated 6 weeks ago. Why is a girl I slept with years ago checking in and how do I ask to meet up? 6 weeks ago, my ex cheated on me. A girl I slept with years ago has been checking in on me a lot since then, asking how I'm doing and showing a lot of concern. 1. We slept together years ago but have stayed in touch sporadically. 2. She's very attentive and frequently asks about my well-being. Also calls me sweet things. 3. I'm interested in seeing her again and maybe rekindling things. Why do you think she's reaching out so much? How should I suggest meeting up without making it awkward or seeming like I'm just looking for a rebound? Thanks for the advice. Update. Had sex with my ex after breakup. What should I do now? I, 25M, and my ex, 22F, broke up almost 2 months ago after 4 years together. She made out with another guy at a party. We met 3 weeks after the breakup when she came to pick up her clothes from my apartment, where we had lived together for 3 years. While she was collecting her clothes, she started crying and said it was hard for her. She also said that I had become much more attractive, mentioning my glow up. This led to us having really passionate sex multiple times, and she stayed for 5 hours. The next day, she texted me saying she had sex flashbacks and sent nude pictures of herself, wanting to meet again. I told her it wasn't a good idea for us to see each other again as I wanted to move on. She said she understood and that maybe our paths would cross again in the future. I've been doing no contact with her, blocked her everywhere to move on, and we haven't talked for 5 weeks now. I miss her and I love her. I want her to reach out, I want her back. What should I do? Fifth story. Girlfriend of 2 years cheated on me in our open relationship. I know the title may sound confusing, but my girlfriend of almost 2 years decided a few months ago that she wanted us to open up our relationship. I was originally hesitant, but I trusted that she would never do anything to intentionally hurt me. And a lot of the reasons for opening the relationship were largely tied to the fact that she wanted to be able to have fun sex with our rave friends together. As a monogamous person, like I said, I was hesitant but trusted her with all my heart and knew that she would never do anything with anyone without asking if I was comfortable beforehand. Flash forward to last weekend. She went away to a music festival with some of our friends by herself, did copious amounts of hard drugs, and wound up cheating on me and having sex with someone who she met down there. She never asked if she could sleep with him, never even told me about it, which were our two big rules for openness. I had to hear about it from one of my friends who went on the trip with her. Even during our breakup, she wasn't going to tell me, and when I finally got her to admit it, she was so stone cold and had no remorse whatsoever. I'm completely blindsided, disgusted, and heartbroken. We were always so sincere, honest, and real with each other in making sure we both knew how much we loved and appreciated each other. Even during our breakup, she kept emphasizing how much love she would always have for me and that she hoped our paths may cross again. I find myself questioning what was real in our relationship and what wasn't. How could someone who truly loved and appreciated me done what she did? How do you move forward and learn to trust again after something like this? I feel so lost and like a shattered version of myself. Girlfriend somehow found a way to cheat in our open relationship and I'm completely broken.